So we already put the car on the lift, we removed the under shields, and right now we are flushing the AC because I didn't really want to do it from under the hood because, well, the Freon is kind of dirty, so it would be easier to do from under the car. So generally what happened is a few months ago I was fixing the battery. I had one of the sensor on cells to actually showing correct temperature. So today I have, I think, the same issue, like the car doesn't start, and later I will show you how it looks on ISTA, on the car diagnostic software, what kind of problem I have. And so we will remove the battery and we will see what of the sensor is faulty. This is how it looks from under the car. We already removed the AC and flushed it, removed the connector, and this is generally how it looks, the battery below the car. Now we also need to undo this under shield as well because it covers butter a little bit here. So let's do it. Now with the under shield removed, we have full access to the battery. We also need to remove these bolts which holds the coolant lines that goes to the rear engine, and after that we can start removing the bolts that holds the battery. We need to take out this plastic mounts which holds lines in place, here and this one. Simply on this clips here, so just undo it and it just moves out. Here we go. Now with coolant lines completely out, we have full access to battery, so it's wide enough to actually take it out. Next step we will unscrew all the bolts and put it on table. Okay, so in order to remove battery, we need to undo these 4 screws on this side and then 4 screws on this side. This is basically a plate which holds the front part of the battery, and then on the back we have 2 bolts in here. This holds directly to rear subframe, and once it's done the battery is out. Now there is also this orange big plug which actually transfers all the power to and from battery, but we cannot remove right now. We need to take battery down a little bit and then we can remove it and then fully take the battery out. Okay, so under the battery there is AC drain plug and it's sometimes getting clogged, so if you remove the battery, make sure you also clean this because it would be otherwise really hard to clean it without taking the battery out. Okay, so this is the battery out. It's pretty long. And next step we need to undo this this cap here and just remove it, because we need to disconnect this the plugs that connects to this connector. Okay, so as a safety measure, this connector doesn't have any voltage, so here I have the multimeter which shows it's 0, because when the battery disconnected, the contactor inside this module is also disconnected, so this connector doesn't have any voltage on it. Next step, once this cap removed, we need to take out these 2 orange plugs. As I showed earlier, they're not under the voltage, but anyway, be really careful. There is like nothing too complex, there's just like a clip on the right side and on the right side here as well. Once we remove it, we will see what to do next. That we removed those two wires, we just need to undo every single of these bolts and take the top cover off. This is the battery specs for my particular car. So 355.2 volts and capacity of 20 amp hours. See, this is the battery module. We have 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two boxes, they are CSC, which is cell supervision circuit, and they are managing the battery voltage, each inner cells voltage, which I'll show you later. So under voltage, over voltage, and also it used to balance the voltage between the cells inside this module. And these orange wires, they are used to connect the battery in series. So like every battery has 58-ish volt when charged, and in order to get our 355 volts, we just need to chain them each together. So like 58, 58, 58, which is 160, and then another 160, so probably a little bit more, and it gets us to 355 volts. In order to safely work on this, it's better to disconnect this wire so that you wouldn't have higher voltage here. So just take them out, each of them, and then work with each cell separately. This is battery module inside, and every of this module has 16 cells. So these 16 cells also connected in series to have higher voltage. And so what we're going to do right now, this orange are temperature sensors. And in order to see which ones of them is faulty, we need to measure resistance on every of this and basically compare which ones of them shows different readings from all of this, and those are the problems that shows us incorrect temperature. In case if one of this temperature sensor goes faulty, most likely diagnostics will show you which one has implausible value, but in my case it just was showing 70 Celsius degree temperature and without showing the exact module. So what we have to do is we will have to measure resistance on every single temperature sensor inside this battery. So on this connector we have a bunch of yellow and also white. This white wire is actually I replaced earlier, 2 months ago, and these yellows are also the temperature sensors. What we'll have to do is to find where exactly this yellow sensors goes into this connector, and just measure the resistance on every of them and compare which ones show very different readings. Okay, so this is how I put in the wires, the testers, and plug them to a multimeter, and this is basically the readings I'm seeing on pretty much every of the sensors from the upper row of cells. It's about 110, 115 kilo ohms. And right now the temperature ambient is about 21, 22 Celsius. So depending on temperature in your region, it might be a little bit higher or lower, but generally this should stay probably 100 to 115, 120 kilo ohms. Okay, I think we found the incorrect one. As you see, it shows 05.8, so much lower, which means lower resistance, higher temperature, according to that data sheet of these NTC sensors. So we found it in here in 5th CSC module. If we plug it into another one, it shows correct reading. So we will have to remove the top row and actually take out this cell and replace the module. Okay, so we removed the AC line. We didn't remove it here. This is basically sort of radiator. So moves the cold from the AC line down to the bottom part of battery. So we removed this one, and if I remember correctly, we had run reading on this CSC module. So we also need to remove this upper part. We don't really need to take the whole cell from the battery. Just need to take this plastic off and see which ones of the temp sensor is faulty and just simply replace it. Okay, so I really don't know what's going on, but after we removed the top row and started to measure again to see which ones of the temp sensors faulty, it shows the correct readings on all of the modules, on all of the cells. So we did a few times, we tried different wires, just like push-pull wires to see if there is some loose connection, but everything seems to be working fine. So we will try to assemble the battery now, connect the wires, and then I'll start car, plug the diagnostics, and I'll try to see if there's any errors indicating the incorrect temperature readings. These are the temperature sensors. There are two sensors in here. As you see, like there are 4 wires, one on top of another, and then 2 wires. Same in here. The rest there is just 2 wires. So in case if you need to remove it, you just need to take this one out. This is some sort of like plastic compound. I don't know what exactly it is. So I removed it, and then I used sort of like seam sealer, which hardens over time. And what you need to do, you just need to remove the sensors and replace it with NTC sensor and just put it back, glue it back. And here I just cut the wires and I soldered it back, so everything seems to be okay. If you good with crimping tools, you can just remove this, you can undo this connector, take out these 2 wires from connector, and just put a new wire back. Just make sure that the length of the wire is the same, because every wire has its own resistance and some readings might be incorrect. I decided to remove this sensor because it was originally reading wrong, so we removed it. We cleaned up a little bit, sanded it off, and we will apply the new one. I resoldered the wires and the sensor is already in place. I just need to glue it to the surface so it would have the best readings, but I already measured with multimeter and it shows the same resistance as other 2 sensors here. So applying the glue and assembling the battery and one more try. Applied the adhesive here, so it's ready. Added zip ties, wrap the wires to insulation, and getting battery back and trying again. Finally, we assembled the battery back with one replaced sensor, the one we meant to replace originally, and right now, as you see, it just reads 23.0 and 24.0 Celsius, so this is, well, that's pretty much how the normal working battery should behave. Battery is finally on the car. We screw it back to car, so now everything seems to be good. I also waited like 15-20 minutes to see if the temperature readings would be right, and yes, everything is alright. So now we just need to screw everything back, basically all this coolant lines, underbody, and I think we're finally done. So today is Saturday and it's been 5 days since I did the job and fixed the battery. Everything seemed to be okay. I tested with diagnostics tool and checked the temperature also on cells, and it's all in acceptable ranges. So I'm happy with the outcome. I am not sure why exactly these sensors are failing, because they're supposed to last 20-30 years. It's pretty much same as you have in your fridges, washer machines and dryers and so on. So it's like should last pretty much longer, but I have no idea. I've been also asked a few times how can we extend the capacity of our batteries. So there are like 2 ways. The first way, to use the LCI modules. You still would need to rewire them so they could work with 2 CSC modules, because the LCI has only 1 CSC module, which actually makes more sense than having 2 CSC modules per one battery module. The other way is actually use the BMW 3 and 5 from model year 2019, I think. They have even bigger capacity. You still would need to like rewire them to use 2 CSC modules on pre-LCI models, but they can give you like 12.56 kilowatt hours capacity, which is really great, and I think that can like boost your range, I know, probably up to like 40 kilometers or so. Alright guys, I think that's it, and I really hope this video will help someone to fix their batteries. As you saw, this is totally DIY solution, so not something really complex. the most complex part is actually remove and install battery back. So have a good one. Peace.